Hey everybody, it's November 20th. It's a warmer day today in the upper 60s, so doing some yard work and feeding these bees. This is probably the last time that I go into the hives. I went into a couple of hives today. Probably the last time I go into the hives actually until February. Most of the hives are pretty heavy. The ones on the back row are nice. A few of these are nice. There's a few right here in the center that are a little lighter. And I actually took one down. I took this one down. It felt really light. I looked in it and there were about 4 frames of bees in the top box. The bottom box was pretty much empty, like it had all been eaten. The comb was nice, but there weren't that many bees, so I just took them out and kind of dumped them into the yard, and they'll just, that's kind of why you see some bees flying around. They'll just fly into these other hives. I ended up actually seeing the queen when I did that. I didn't think there was a queen at first, but usually this time of year, I do see some hives that go broodless. So a lot of back and forth here in central Alabama when and even if hives go broodless for a certain amount of time. Yeah, I've seen it. I think they do. I think they do in November and possibly even earlier than that. So within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to treat with oxalic acid vaporization. So now's a good time to do that when you have very little to no brood. I actually went into like 2 more hives. Also saw a pretty good amount of bees in this box and in this box. Actually saw the queen in this one, but just didn't see any brood. Right, they're at a point of the year where they don't need to be making a lot of brood, if any. So basically, on the warmer days, I'll feed them if some of these feel a little lighter. But I went ahead and took that one down. It seemed awfully small. That's pretty much it. Treat with oxalic acid. That's what I would do here within the next couple of weeks. You could run a treatment regimen of, treat every 5 days, every 7 days for 2 or 3 weeks. But really, if you have no brood, it's a very good treatment, even just once or twice. Because if you have any mites in the hive, which you probably do, they're going to be out on the bees and walking around the hive. So the oxalic acid will kill them. That's it. It's going to rain here for the next week or so, or rain and get kind of cool down into upper 50s, and then down into the 40s. And so I'm going to pick a good day when it's around like 45 or 50 degrees to treat with oxalic acid. So like all the bees are in the hive, they're not out flying around. If you got any questions, let me know. I think I've pretty much covered it for this year. So what, I had 13 minus 1 here, so I've got 12 now, which is good. That's plenty for me. That's real. I don't want many more than that. And so we'll see how these do through the winter time. If you got any questions, just leave them in the comments. Thanks.